my name is Leora Glogau, and this is my final presentation for Bio 282 Lab. What did the Neanderthals do for us? And the primary source was the genomic landscape of Neanderthal ancestry and present-day humans. Okay, so the news source was BBC Earth. The main idea was that most humans outside of Africa carry traces of Neanderthal DNA, and the goal was to explain what exactly that means, how do we know that, what benefits or disadvantages does that offer us in present-day humans. So that assumes that there was interspecies reproduction and fertile offspring. When the scattered Neanderthal DNA is compiled from the entire human genome today, we see patterns of different benefits and advantages and disadvantages. The benefits include things like keratin filament enhancement, giving us stronger nails and hair, as well as possible immune system benefits. And then the disadvantages include predisposition to diseases, including lupus, type 2 diabetes, and depression, and also to smoking, not necessarily whether you start smoking, but just how much would you smoke if you did. However, the article said that Neanderthal genes are too minor to have substantial effect. And of course, other factors such as our environment and genetic constitution will influence our susceptibility as well. The reason that it's so hard to identify exactly what it does for us, the Neanderthal DNA, is because we just don't know enough about genetics in general. And so the article suggests that it's possible that Neanderthal genes are inconsequential altogether. Onto the primary source, which was published in Nature. This study had a systematic approach to infer Neanderthal haplotypes in genome of present-day humans from different descent, including European, Asian, or West African. The findings included that there were different benefits that helped humans adapt to environments outside of Africa. There is also an implied selection against Neanderthal genes that were seen in this study. And the possible explanation for that was that Neanderthal alleles may have led to a decreased male fertility in modern humans when adopted to our genetic background. Okay, so the methods used in this research was based on conditional random field, which combines 3 types of information. There is allele pattern at single nucleotide polymorphism. There is high genetic sequence of divergence, high genetic sequence divergence of non-African haplotype to YRI, which is West African Yoruba, which is a population that is estimated to have 0 Neanderthal DNA. So genetic divergence of that, and then but is low to Neanderthals. And then the haplotype link that is consistent with interbreeding patterns from 37 to 86,000 years ago. And then using the Alta Neanderthal genome, which is the most complete genetic sequence of Neanderthals that we have today, and 176 YRI genomes, which are assumed to have no Neanderthal DNA. For references, the CRF then was trained to identify the correlating Neanderthal genes in over 1,000 modern human sequences and tested in various ways to ensure that it's actually identifying the correct types of genes. So what did it find? This map is of Neanderthal ancestry, and it's showing us the probability of Neanderthal ancestry for individuals from different descent. So for European individuals, there is a pretty high probability in different positions along chromosome 9, which is the specific chromosome chosen for the study. Different locations have a very high probability of Neanderthal ancestry. The East Asian individual also has different locations with very high probability, just not as many locations. And then the individual of sub-Saharan African descent has very, very low probability of Neanderthal ancestry throughout the entire chromosome. So the overall results of the study included understanding that there's a general negative selection against Neanderthal ancestry. Genes involved in keratin filament were enhanced, as we said earlier, and there was a potential found to affect lupus, Crohn's disease, smoking behavior, and more. And then male hybrid sterility correlated with Neanderthal ancestry. found to indicate that the biological compatibility of Neanderthals and modern humans is much lower than that of West Africans and Europeans. Okay, accuracy and explanation. So on average, Neanderthal DNA was said to be 2.7% in European individuals in the new source, but it was actually 1.15 in the primary source. The new source covered nails and hair and skin benefits, whereas skin was not covered at all in the primary source. Fertility was said to exist in the new source, and then male hybrid fertility was said to not exist between Neanderthal and human offspring. The news source said that the study covered the sequences from the entire history of interactions of the two species, but actually there was only 1,000 genetic sequences referred to. And then immunity was mentioned in the news source, but not in the primary source, and the consequences of Neanderthal genes in the news source was thought to be possibly too minor, but in the primary source that was not said. Overall, I think that the analysis was pretty good. It didn't misrepresent the data, and it was made available to a wider audience of readers. These are my citations. Thank you.